conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
All right, here we are. Believe You Me, 64. We're back.
Episode 64. How you doing, Lewis?
Pretty goddamn good, Michael Bisping. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Monday morning. What happened at the weekend? Well, a lot happened at the weekend, actually. A lot of fights. A royal wedding. I don't know if you saw that, Lewis. Do you care about that? Do you give a fuck?
Literally the biggest deal in my life right now.
Yeah, me too. It's huge. I was so excited. I stayed up all night to watch it. What else is new? Hey, we got a blue verified check mark on the BYM Pod Twitter handle, Lewis. We finally did it. We made it.
It's a big deal. I'm going to tell you right now.
We are official.
It shouldn't matter, but that little blue check mark, it sort of means something.
What does it mean?
If I see somebody has a blue check mark, I take them immediately more serious than a person without it.
So the way this came about, and thank you very much, Michael, for making that happen. Yes, no problem, Lewis. Don't worry about it. The way it came about was, you know, I'm involved with that company, Playline, the daily fancy sports app, playline.com. Check it out, people. Or download the app, whichever you want to do. Make yourself some money.
You mean the company that
they wanted me to reach out to somebody I knew from Twitter, see if I could get them verified. And Matt from Paradigm Sports Management, very nice man, said he had a contact at Twitter. Who would I like to be verified? He said, would you like BYM and would you like Playline verified? So we put that in a few weeks ago. And hey, presto, today is the magic day.
That's pretty amazing. You know, there's a filter where you can do this. If you're logged in, you could filter where if you hit the verified button, you just see tweets from people that are verified. So you can cut out all of the unverified people if you want. And you could just filter it that way.
I'll tell you what, though, whilst he did get the Twitter thing verified, which is very nice, and I thank you for that, Matt, one thing, which I don't know if you know anything about this, I've been asking him for a long time to try and change my Wikipedia page profile picture because I look like the biggest moron. And like if I'm going for an acting role or anything like that, the first thing they'll do is Google me, and up comes the Wikipedia page, and I look like it's not a complimentary picture. So I sent him so many ones, said, put this one up, put this one. They won't take any of them. Or if they do put them up, they get taken down again for copyright infringement or whatever. Do you know anything about Wikipedia profile picture changing, Lewis?
I have no idea, but I don't think this is not a bad picture. This actually makes you look like a human being.
Which one? Which one? The one where I'm like kind of like looking up with a retarded look on my face. Yeah, it's not a good look, Lewis. The one with the chain around my neck, is that what you're looking at?
No, I'm looking at the one. No, that one's hilarious. That one you look like you're warming up for a gay porno. That one I was stepping onto the stage at UFC 70. The one you're looking at, I look like a 1950s dustman from Mary Poppins. Yeah. Wow.
You know, it's not a complimentary shot. There's lots of, you know, I would say somewhat decent shots of me out there, but Wikipedia are insistent on putting that one out there, which is a pain in the ass.
Also, what are you wearing right now? This is like, did you borrow your son's shirt?
Right now?
Yes.
Right now, this shirt?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Are you in? Look at that picture. I mean, my face is dirty. What is wrong with my shirt, Lewis?
It looks like it should be on like a 7-year-old kid.
This is. Well, I don't know if you've heard of Kubels. It's a very good brand that I do enjoy their products. This is a Kubel shirt. I like this shirt, Lewis. It wouldn't fit a 7-year-old kid. By the way, I'm trimming down. This is a large, and you know, it's a little bit loose on me, Lewis. What can I say? I mean, dare I go for the medium? No, madness. That would be madness.
Why are you trimming down? Anything in your mind? What's going on?
I'm not trimming down. I'm trimming down the midsection, but I'm beefing up the guns, ready to go to war. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right, that was gay. Lewis, an American has made it into the royal family. I'm not happy, I gotta say.
Does it really bother you?
We're watering down the brand. What the hell? We can't have Americans marrying into the royal family. Jesus Christ, what's next?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't even realize she was American until this morning. I started doing a little research because I saw a picture. She's a smoke show. She used to be on that game show. What was the game show?
Deal or no deal.
Deal or no. Yeah, How to Marry a Millionaire. How to Marry. No, it was, what is it called again?
The Bachelor.
Deal or no deal.
Deal or No Deal. There we go. Where she used to hold one of the briefcases.
Oh, okay.
But she's a smoke show. Really, really beautiful chick. And good for her. Who gives a shit? He's literally a rich person who's just rich for the sake of being rich. He does nothing. What the fuck does Prince Harry do?
Do you know what? To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Royals. Well, sorry, pardon me. Let me set that straight. I'm not a huge fan of the Royals. They have a role to play these days. To be honest, they're more of a tourist attraction more than anything in the UK. They certainly have no power. But the two princes, Harry and William, they do a lot of good. I have respect for them. They're all right. They served in the military. They do a bit of charity work. They do that type of stuff. I'm sure their ride through the military was a lot easier than the average Joe, but still, they're doing good and they seem like okay lads. So I'm happy for them. And by the way, I'm joking, but still, if you're married, if you're born into the royal family, at least marry an English person, for crying out loud. Don't water it down with an American. It's a joke before you all start fucking getting upset.
Yeah, first of all, I don't give a shit what culture she's from. If she looks like that, God bless her soul.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She's a good-looking girl.
Yeah, she is. But here, I just don't understand. I mean, technically, the royal family is just, for Americans that don't know, from our perspective, it's just nothing, right? It's literally just a sort of a famous family. I mean... what do they do?
Well, the Queen is the head of state, so anything that the Prime Minister does, and if I'm getting this wrong for any people that know about this stuff, I apologise, because I'm no expert, believe it or not, on politics or the royal family, which is a shocker. I get it. But anything big, for example, if we had to go, we were going to go to war or anything like that, the Queen has to sign off on it. I think the Prime Minister has a meeting with the Queen once a week. They go over everything. But the Queen doesn't really have any power. Although she does have to, officially authorize things. I think I might be wrong, but that's what I think. But it's all the big decisions are made in Parliament, so they don't really have much of a role these days.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of weird, just in general. I don't understand why anybody would really care about any. But we do that in here. I mean, the reality is, you look at like the Kardashians. It's sort of the same bullshit. That's the reality. That's what I compare.
Are you saying that the Kardashians are the American equivalent of the royal family?
Basically. They basically do the same thing. They're just rich people that I guess they make the tabloids and people want to watch them do whatever. And I'm sure the Kardashians do a ton of charitable work. I'm sure they're out there, doing what they got to do as well. I wonder who gives more money to charity, the royal family or the Kardashians?
Probably the Kardashians.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. So, the country kind of went crazy over that at the weekend. If you turn the news on, that's all it was, which is nice, I guess. It's nice to see something like that in a world where so much shit is going on. I guess it's nice to see people celebrating love and getting married. So, yeah, well done. That's nice.
Yeah, well, good for them. Good for them, and good for Prince Harry for getting his getting a pretty goddamn hot chick. And she's half black, too, right? He is fucking pale.
No, I think she's actually black. I think she's black, yeah. And her dad, there was some kind of controversy. Obviously, I didn't follow it too closely. But her dad didn't go to the wedding. I don't know, there was some controversy that he staged some pictures or something. So he didn't go to his own daughter's wedding, which is pretty ridiculous. He is going to regret that day. If your daughter, Lewis, if you ever have a daughter and she marries into the British royal family, please go to the wedding. Because, that's kind of something you want to
why wouldn't the dad go to the wedding?
I don't know, because he was shamed or something. I don't know. Ask Shannon. She probably knows. Shannon,
I know why. Because Prince Harry's a redhead. That is gross. You're right.
They don't want red-haired black babies.
No.
That'd look weird. What else?
Oh, shit. What else going on?
So Lewis, I was talking to you about this, briefly. So somebody that's close to our family recently has been diagnosed with ADD, which got me looking into it. And they were talking about it, and they were telling me about the symptoms of ADD. And there's also ADHD, attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So we started looking into it. And I think I might have ADHD, Lewis. I really do, because there's a test that you can do online. And, of course, if it's online, it must be good. And I said yes to every single question.
Oh, what's the test? Pull up the test. Please send that over to Shannon.
Let's do it. Let's do the test. I want to see what you say. and I want to see what I say. And maybe people listening to this podcast, they can answer the test as well and see if they're all ADHD as well.
I actually have.
Because I don't think I have ADHD. This is just my personality. And in some of the questions, you could say they are personality flaws, granted. But still, I don't think I need medicating for it. But can we pull up the test?
Yeah. So look, I'm personally diagnosed with ADHD. Like I have major ADHD, and I've been on medication. I've been on different medications for it. So I know, I know firsthand what it's like.
Hold on. When you say you have major ADHD, how would you describe that?
The best way to describe the way that I feel, is I constantly feel like I forgot something at home. So when you know that feeling, everyone knows that feeling.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called?
What?
That's called being forgetful.
Yeah, but I think it's at all times. I mean, I'm talking about like if I'm reading something, my mind starts wandering and I start thinking about other things and I start getting worried about other things that are going on. And I truly can't focus on one thing. And I'll start a ton of projects, but I can't finish them. And it's very, very, for me anyway, it was very, very difficult before I got a medication. And I read a book called Driven to Distraction, which, I mean, dude, it literally got me like emotional. This book fucked me up because I grew up very poor. So when you're poor, you don't go to psychologists. You don't go to see doctors. You just, I was considered a problem
you just
kid.
Are the way you are.
Yeah. So I was a problem kid. I was somebody who was considered a distraction to other kids in class. And, I was somebody who was getting in trouble a lot, but I wasn't like a violent kid, or I wasn't like threatening people. I wasn't doing stupid shit. I was just seeking attention and constantly kind of distracted and looking for other things to do. So, but yeah, dude, when I read this book, it really sort of put it into perspective for me. And then I went and I saw a psychologist. So yeah, dude, I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, so as I say, somebody close to my family has been diagnosed with ADD. That's what caused me to look into it. As I say, somebody close to my family, definitely not my daughter and definitely not one of my kids, definitely none of my children. So we're kind of doing our research into whether or not we do this. So I've been reading into it, and a lot of people, some people say it's total BS, and other people, scientists, doctors, clever people that research these things, that have certainly done more work than I have, spending an hour or two on Google reading some bullshit articles. They seem to think it's a real thing, and it's a brain disorder that can be treated with medication. So I don't know. How do you feel? So did the medication helps, Lewis?
Yeah, 100%.
Did you take medication?
I did. I've tried basically every type of medication: Adderall, Vyvanse. What was the other one that I was on for a while? Was it? No, it wasn't Concerta.
Any negative side effects, or how did it affect you on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, I think it did make me a little bit more temperamental. The Adderall did. I think Vyvanse was the best one for me because it was just a lot smoother. It didn't feel like I was on a drug. It just made me feel normal. And when I was on Adderall, whereas I think I was thinking a lot more clearly and getting a lot more work done, I was super easy to agitate. So
really,
it's sort of, and I'm already like an on edge guy, so that I think that one wasn't, but I think it's for everybody's different. You have to really look at the way your chemistry reacts to certain things, because it's not like there's a one pill solution for everything. Sometimes exercise is the fucking answer. Actually, to be honest with you, most of the time.
That's actually what I read in one of these articles. So anyway, before we bore everyone any further, let's do this test together online, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because I think I think I'm on the fence. I think it could be a little bit of bullshit. Can we bring up the questions on the screen, and can we go split screen? All right, begin test. Let's go question 1. What does that say? Read it out to me.
Let's see. I have poor attention to detail. I often make small mistakes. I skim read, rush things. I mess up dates, get details wrong, or make simple errors because I'm not paying attention.
Yes, of course. But
Yeah.
I do make small mistakes. I do skim read because I'm in a rush. I rush things because I'm always late. I mess up dates. Okay, a little bit forgetful. Next question. What about you, Lewis? Is that a yes?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're describing me.
But I don't see anything wrong with that.
All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm easily distracted. I struggle to finish long, complex tasks, even leisure activities. I may do something else, or I end up doing several things at once. Answer yes if any of these apply to you.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But I struggle to finish long, complex tasks may mean, I don't know, I got a bit bored of it halfway through and I thought I'll go back to that later, and you kind of put it off, you procrastinate. and you forget to finish it.
Well, my mind starts moving on to the next thing. If I start reading a book, I get halfway through and I go, all right, dude, I get it. Let me go to the fucking...
Yeah, I do that a lot, to be honest, yeah. All right, so that's a yes. All right, a poor listener.
I'm a poor listener. I often tune out...
Hold on, I got something to tell you first.
I often tune out during long conversations. I may appear to be listening, but my mind wanders and I miss what's being said. Is this the description of this podcast?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's basically every time I'm having a conversation with my wife. You know what I mean? I'm listening, but I'm not really listening. But listen, it's a yes. I mean, there's 18 of these questions, and these, to me, I don't know, Lewis. You know, I mean, these are just people's personality traits.
These are 9. Well, it's not. But here's the thing. I think not everybody feels that way. Shannon, are you answering yes to all these questions?
Yes.
You are? Okay,
Yeah,
well, Shannon, you're fired. Why the fuck do we have Shannon in charge of this show, then? We need somebody who does not have ADD to be in charge of the show.
Right. I don't follow instructions well. Number 4, question 4. I prefer to jump rather than read the instructions. So here's the thing. I never read the instructions. I always dive right in. You know why? Because I can figure it out. Because generally these days, I don't need to read the instructions. I know how it is. I've opened things before. Yeah, there's the charger. Plug it into the wall. Yeah, I reckon that goes into there. Maybe don't get it wet. That would be a good one. Maybe don't, while it's plugged in, put it in the bath. Yeah, I'm with that. I don't need to read the instructions.
This was
yours a yes, Lewis?
This was your game plan going into the Gastelum fight. You're like, listen, I don't need a game plan. Put the fucking manual down. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do what I do. I know exactly.
We'll just wing it. I have trouble organizing my work or home life. My to-do list feels overwhelming. I don't have a to-do list, so I'm good.
I often procrastinate, unsure of where to start or what I need. Yeah, of course. This is all me. Go to the next one. It's going to be yes across the board. I avoid tasks.
Yeah, no, it is.
I avoid tasks that need sustained mental effort. I struggle with jobs that demand focus for a long time. I dislike routine, repetitive tasks, hate paperwork. When I'm interested, I'm super focused. Yeah.
What's wrong with that? When I'm interested, I'm super focused. If I'm not interested, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? You know why? Because I'm not interested.
I often misplace my keys or TV remote. I just had it a minute ago. I lose important paperwork. My home or workspace is cluttered. Piles everywhere. Dog, you're describing me. I lose my keys every time I leave my house.
Your life sounds like a mess, Lewis.
It's a nightmare, dude. It's a nightmare. Every time I leave my house, I freak out and go, where the fuck are my keys? And I have to check every surface in my place because I just put them down somewhere without thinking.
Yeah, but you know what? That is a lot of people in this world. That's why there's those things, called Tile that you can put on your keys and you push the app on your phone and all that type of stuff. I don't think that is a requirement to medicate somebody simply because they often misplace their car keys. I do that every day, all the time. And I think a lot of people do also.
Easily distracted by conversations, noises, or activity around me. I'm often lost in thought. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm smart but absent-minded. And last but not least, I'm forgetful. I often lose track of what I was supposed to be doing. I'm bad with dates, names, or appointments, and forget to bring something I need. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we sat down. As I say, this doctor wants to prescribe someone close to our family with Adderall. And so I started looking into it. And this is the test that I stumbled across. And I got a perfect 9 out of 9. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, sign me up. So I think I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. A lot of people say it's BS. A lot of people say it's real. Lewis, you obviously have experience and more knowledge in this situation. What do you think? Do we all get on Adderall and get out of our minds?
No, I don't think everyone needs to get on Adderall. I think people need to know. Everyone knows when they feel good. Everyone knows when they're working at their best, or you should anyway. I think if you're an adult, I think you do. So if it's a kid you're talking about, I don't think you should put kids on drugs. In my opinion, I think it's there's a lot of different things you can do. And then you start to go, like, if it was my kid, I'd go, what have we explored every single option, every single different type of thing that we could do naturally before I put my kid on drugs. Now, on the flip side, when I was a kid, I was so bad in school and I was considered such a problem child that I think probably being on medication would have really helped me. But I was particularly bad. Like I was expelled from school for like doing stupid shit, like playing hacky sack and cutting class. I was, kids that got expelled were doing drugs and getting into like knife fights. And I was
like, for me, I got into a lot of trouble at school, certainly at primary school, and at high school as well. But I mean, in my opinion, I wasn't a bad kid. Like, for the most part, I was just super hyperactive and like never knew when to shut up, trying to be funny, trying to be the class clown, you know, just being annoying to the teacher. All right. When I was in high school, I got into a few fights. Obviously, that's a little bit different, but that's kind of in my DNA as well, obviously. But for the most part, most of the trouble just came from being a disruption in class, which would fall into this thing here. But let me ask you, did you have any side effects, Lewis? Did it affect your personality at all?
Yeah, I mean, besides that, it was all pretty good stuff for the most part. And I think it was also understanding, my body had to start understanding, you know, what it felt like to sort of put something into it every day and to, you know, it's different, dude. Like I said, I think for a kid, it's a little bit different of a thing. I think as an adult, I'm 36 years old. I know my body a little bit better. It's even like little things like working out. Like, I know when I feel my absolute best. I know when I feel healthy. It's just, you know, even with like eating shit, because there's all these different like things on dieting. Like, when I eat any bread or any sugar at all, I feel like fucking shit. It sits in my stomach. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know anything else. All I know is if I cut out bread and sugar, I feel light. I feel good. I feel energetic. My mind works more clear. That is there's no doubt about it. Nobody's going to convince me that it's not good for my body. So I think as an adult, you start to understand the way your body works and what feels good and what doesn't feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, certainly your diet definitely has a knock-on effect to how you feel and what's happening inside your body. And as we said before, exercise, from what I've seen from looking up on the web, exercise is one of the key things that people say. But all right, well, there you go. Let me ask you, if you were your parent, and would you have put yourself on Adderall when you were a kid?
Dude, it's fucking hard to say, dude. I just know for me, it really did help. For me, it helped. Yeah. You know, and it was a really big difference, and something should have been done. It shouldn't have been this kid's a fucking problem, because the reality is I am very smart. I am very motivated. You know, I tested very well with like all of the standardized tests, and I'm sure my IQ is fairly high. But I was such a bad kid, and they sort of put me in that category. And that's
hold on. When you say bad kid, elaborate on that. What do you mean? What kind of trouble are we talking? Are we talking stuff like being ADHD, just talking too much, and being a little hyperactive? Or are you talking about being a malicious little shit?
No,
you know what I mean?
I was the type of kid where I was always trying to be a class clown. I was trying to be funny in class. I was just being fucking distracting. I wanted attention. Yeah. My dad was killed when I was a kid. My mom was fucking really abusive. So you're looking for attention for other things. It was more than just that, by the way. Like, that was one of the factors. But yeah, they should have put me into some sort of like, you know, some program to help me in one way or another. Yeah. When you go to public school, you know what I'm saying? This person's just trying to fucking collect a paycheck. You have 30 other kids in the class. You know, for them, they go, dude, just get the fuck out of the class. That was sort of the attitude with me.
Yeah.
And, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, well, that's a shame. And the thing is, as well, another side of it is, of course, I mean, again, I don't know too much about this, but what I'm led to believe is that the doctors are very quick to prescribe things because they get a kickback from the pharmaceutical company. So you can't necessarily, all right, hold on. I was going to say you can't necessarily trust the doctors. Maybe that's too much of a statement. That's a little bit too far. But they're encouraged to go down that route of, you know, fixing the problem as opposed to, you know, exercise, maybe speaking to a therapist, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works. I don't know if they get a specific kickback. I know that every time I see my therapist and he prescribes me, you know, medication, I have to pay him X amount of dollars, and the insurance companies, I'm sure they get charged a hell of a lot more. So, yeah, the whole system's kind of fucked up. Like, the reality is you have to trust somebody. You have to go to a therapist that you know and trust. If you go to a therapist the first time and they're like, oh, yeah, take these drugs and, you know, come back in, you know, a month and see me again and pay me again for them, that's kind of just a drug dealer.
Well, yeah, no, that's generally how it works when you see a drug dealer. All right. Anyway, so that was interesting. That literally just happened to me at the weekend. As I say, somebody very close to us. So it's kind of on my mind, and I looked into it, and that task came up. I had no idea that
by the way,
actually had experience with it and were involved with it, and actually are a little bit psycho. So I had no idea. And if I'd known that, Lewis, maybe we wouldn't have done this.
I'm a lot of bit psycho, and there's a documentary on Netflix right now, which a lot of people are talking about. I never watched it, but maybe you should watch it, and then they really get into, I guess, the dangerous side of it. But I had a friend. I don't even know. Look it up.
Take your pills. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen that. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, Shannon, did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Was it good?
Yeah, I just feel like it's everything we pretty much already know about it, but it goes into further detail. It's worth a watch.
I heard it makes people, this is what I've heard from multiple people, you watch it and you want to take Adderall.
Yes, it glorifies it. Yeah.
Yes. So here's the thing, because I know a couple of people that take Adderall, not for recreational purposes. They take it for work purposes. Somebody I know very well, he says, I take Adderall and I get tons of work done. I just get super focused. And he sits there and he gets all this shit done. And I'll call him and he's still in the office at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, holy shit, what are you still doing in the office? You were there at 9 o'clock. He's like, dude, taking a ton of Adderall. I've got so much fucking work done though. It's crazy.
He's like, dude, I am painting this wall and it is gorgeous. That's the other thing is like you think it's going to be, you're going to get super focused on work. You end up getting focused on things you don't even realize you're going to get focused on. It's like then all of a sudden like I'm composing the perfect tweet for 45 minutes, just shaving off words and like making it like I can make this absolutely perfect. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not not always the best solution.
Interesting one. Not that I know a lot about it. So anyway, all right, guys, as you know, I know what it takes to have a good head of hair, and so do the people at our next sponsor, Keeps. Keeps is designed for guys who want to stop hair loss. Unfortunately, Lewis, this won't do anything for you.
No.
But with their scientific and affordable approach, Keeps is the easiest way to stop hair loss before it's too late. Listen, it really works and it's completely safe. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Some of you have probably tried them before, but you've never got them this easy for this price. Getting started with Keeps takes less than 5 minutes. And Keeps only costs $10 to $35 a month. Now you get your first month for free. One hell of a deal for getting to keep your own hair. There's no reason to put this off any longer. Stop your hair loss today the easy way with Keeps.
Yeah. I wish somebody would have showed me Keeps when I was 17 years old when I started losing my hair, which is a nightmare because that's the thing that sucks about any of these hair loss treatment programs. If it's gone, it's gone. You got to get in there early. So if you're listening to this right now and you're noticing in the mirror your hair's thinning, you're brushing it, more and more hair is coming out. Luckily, they sent us a supply of this about a month ago. Harrington, you've been using it.
Oh yeah, man.
What do you think, dude? Because you are an ugly bastard, and you really need as much help as possible. Harrington, let me see your hair. First, let me see it, dude.
Let me see Harrington.
He's starting to lose it. He's starting to lose his hair, but have you noticed any difference?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I just turned 30. Like, that's the tipping point. My dad's been bald my whole life. Yeah. So, for me, I knew it was something that I had to attack starting this year, and it's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at your hair. It does actually look thicker. You don't look as creepy as you normally look. When Harrington takes his hat off, the whole room shudders in fear. Typically. So right now, everyone's kind of like, okay, that's a guy. And no, to be honest with you, I'm glad we're going to keep on using you as the experiment because you need it. Michael Bisping has beautiful hair. Michael, you should consider using it too. You want to keep that hair forever, my friend?
No, 100%. I am going to start using it because, listen, I have award-winning hair, let's be honest. But I want to keep it that way. I don't want to start receding. I don't want to look like Harrington. So I'm going to get involved. And Lewis, if one was wanting to get involved, then how would one do this?
It's nice and easy. To get your first free month of treatment, absolutely free. Remember, free month of treatment, go to keeps.com/believe. That's keeps, KEEPS.com/believe, BELIEVE. And that is, you get 1 free month of treatment at keeps.com/believe. Keeps hair today, hair tomorrow. All right, let's get back into it.
So at the weekend, we did have some MMA. We are an MMA show, so let's talk about that. But I will say, in the full transparency, I didn't see the fights at the weekend, unfortunately, but I did hear about them. I did read up on them. Damian Maia, Kamaru Usman. Did you see it, Lewis? Please tell me that you did.
Yes.
Is that so that's a no then?
No, I didn't watch it. Come on, man. I can't.
You can't watch every single fight. I get it. Me neither. You just can't. There's just too many.
It just wasn't the one.
It wasn't the one. And no, obviously when the UFC are churning out fight cards all the time like they do, not every fight card can be a blockbuster. And Saturday night, I'm involved with UFC Gym, as you probably know. And we have launched UFC Gym UK. And the partners from the UK were in, so I took them out for dinner, so I didn't get to watch it. I did watch some of the prelims. The prelims were fantastic. There was a couple of really good fights on there, but the main card I didn't see. I did make a point of reading up about it on Sunday morning, and it looks like Kamaru Usman had a very, very dominant victory over Damian Maia. You know, to be honest, I'm not surprised at that. Kamaru Usman is a stud. He's a fantastic wrestler, athletic specimen. I did see a little feature on Kamaru Usman, and I know his nickname is the Nigerian Nightmare, but I never actually realized he was born and raised in an early part of his life in Nigeria. So quite the story from Kamaru. Yeah. Very, very inspiring. But, you know, he's a hell of an athlete. He's very, very good. And Damian Maia, you know, he's got to be coming towards the end of his career. He said that he's going to fight out this contract and then move on with his life, I believe. And, yeah, tried takedown attempts, couldn't get him down. From what I heard or read, it sounded much like the Tyron Woodley-Damian Maia fight, which, you know, no disrespect to either guys, isn't a fight that I care to see again. But Kamaru Usman and Woodley had a little back and forth on FS1 after that. I saw that. They talked a bit of shit, you know, but I guess that's what you do, you know. I think Usman is probably getting close to a title shot. So, you know, it's, yeah, well done to Usman and unlucky to Damian Maia. I guess that's my technical breakdown of the fight that I didn't see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it's fine. You know, we made a decision a while ago that we were never going to fake it. You know, this isn't the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to fake it, dude. Sometimes you get booked for Fox. You get booked for some other show. You have to go out and, you know, you have to put on that suit, and this isn't that show.
Well, it's not just faking it, Lewis. I didn't actually see it, and neither did you. So we could fake that we gave a fuck, but when we didn't see it and we don't give a fuck,
no, but can I tell you why?
Then we're in dangerous waters.
No, but here's the thing. We could have watched it this morning. we could have
done it easily.
Any bit of effort. I mean, we sat here and we smoked bong hits for like 2 hours at one point.
Did?
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't care. And then I also read that it was a fucking boring decision. So I was like, okay, well, now I'm not going to go watch a boring decision after the fact.
Yeah, and in the co-main event, they had Tatiana Suarez, who by all accounts is a very, very good wrestler. But, you know, I mean, I'm just, you know, no offense to her. I'm sure she'll prove to have a great career. But again, you know, I wasn't rushing away to watch that either.
Yeah. Wasn't there another? I saw another. Yeah. I watched the Andrea Lee versus Veronica Macedo fight.
Right.
How
was that?
It was fine. I thought that chick Andrea Lee was pretty hot. So
I forget. Is that the lady that wears the cowboy hat?
Yes.
I saw her last week with the cowboy hat. Yeah, she looks good in the hat. Yeah. I like that. Not a bad look. I'm sure she's a very, very good fighter.
She's very intelligent, very funny.
Very intelligent. She looks good on camera. She delivers it well. Excellent, well-rounded mixed martial artist.
I'm sure she's great at the sciences and math. And,
yes.
Oh, my God. Good for fucking her.
I tell you what, as I said, I did see some of the prelim fights, and they were awesome. There was one guy, what was his name? God. He was about to get armbarred. He picked him up. He slammed him on his head, knocked him out. There's a couple of really good finishes, and then, as I said, I had to leave. But yeah, what else is going on, Lewis?
We're being pigs for a moment. Can we continue just for a moment?
Being pigs?
Yeah.
Sure. It comes naturally. Go ahead.
Okay. So did you see the picture of Paige Van Zandt?
Which one?
The newest one. There's a rumor.
I believe I did. Are you explain it, Lewis? Because I'm in the UFC, so I don't want to be disrespectful to a fellow colleague. I would never disrespect a fellow colleague inside the UFC. That's just not me, Lewis. I don't do that. I don't operate like that. And especially objectifying a woman of the opposite sex. I don't know who you think I am. You must have me confused with one of your other podcast people.
No way. First of all, I know you told me specifically. You said, "Hey, dude, I don't even see if they're men or women. I just see them as being fighters." Okay, and that's fine.
Right.
So this is a picture that Paige Van Zandt posted on her Instagram.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I like that picture. Let's have a look at the likes. Did I like it?
No, you didn't like it. Did you like it?
I don't know. Did I like it? Let's have a look.
Let's see.
Did I like it? Let's have a look. Hold on. Let's go to her profile right now. Paige. Is it P-I-G?
P-A-I-G.
Paige Van Zandt. Here we go. I didn't like it, but I just did.
Yeah, you did.
I've liked it. It's a good picture. That looks like a solid meal she's cooked.
Yeah, she really looks like she's, are these protein pancakes? That looks delicious.
What's on her plate? It's a full plate.
All I know is that
it's a fuller plate than it used to be, Lewis.
Yeah, that's true. To be honest with you, I noticed that the last time I saw her holding a plate of protein pancakes, if I'm not mistaken, maybe half the size.
Last time I saw her holding protein pancakes, I was starving. Now I look at that and I'm like, I'm just full to the brim. In fact, I can't breathe. Oh.
Last time she was holding a plate of protein pancakes, they were silver dollar pancakes. Now she's got these big old flapjacks. What's going on here?
Word. Crazy time. Yeah, I don't know. She's been working the pec deck or do some bench press. Yeah, she's had a boob job. Good for her. Well done. Why the hell not?
She definitely got a boob job. First of all, what did she say? I want to see what she says in the post.
Lewis, by the way, this is, I mean, I try and get into an intelligent discussion about Adderall and whatnot. Yours, let's, U-turn, Paige Van Zandt's tits, let's go.
Tweet at us. What did you enjoy more? Our boring conversation about Adderall.
I was bored as fuck myself. I thought you might be funny and have a funny interjection.
It's a serious...
have a serious conversation about Adderall. I don't want to have a serious conversation about Adderall. I thought we might have some fun with the stupid test.
It's a sickness, Michael Bisping. I have a sickness, and maybe we don't fucking...
Maybe I do as well.
Yeah, I don't take your sicknesses and go and make fun of them, make light of them. We had a nice, serious conversation, and I'm sure all of our fans with ADD appreciated it. But now we have something for them to focus on. Okay.
Well, I can't focus because my contact lens is drying out. That's why I keep fiddling with my eye. But fortunately, Paige Van Zandt is helping me because they're a bit bigger than what they used to be.
I'm picking 25 people to do a private Instagram live Q&A with me. I'm only picking 25, so we'll have enough time for everyone to ask their questions. Here's how to get picked. Dude, I mean, I love her. Good for her. Good for her.
No, God bless her. You know what? She's actually a really, really nice girl. I've hung out with her a few times. She's great. Honestly, she's awesome.
Isn't there a thing,
she's
though?
She's enhanced herself, and she's even more awesome these days. Well done.
Wasn't there a thing with Misha Tate a while ago? Look this up. Wasn't there some sort of controversy with her boob job saying that in certain jurisdictions...
Was she going to get turned away from a fight in New York because she had a boob job? I think that's what it was.
I think that's what it was, yeah, because they were saying that it could be, it could like technically pop inside.
Ridiculous.
And also, I should say, we're not being sexist, Michael Bisping. If you came out, right, and then the next way...
If I came out with a medically enhanced what?
Cock. Let's say you had a huge bulge in your pants, and it was just a huge natural difference. What?
We would talk about.
We would 100% talk about it.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about that gigantic bulge in Francis Ngannou's tight pants before.
100%. And I feel like we would actually be sexist if we didn't bring up...
Have you seen that picture of Francis Ngannou stood with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson? And it looks like Demetrius Johnson is inside his legs. But it's not Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. It's something else.
It's his dick.
It's his fucking gigantic cock. It's massive.
Shouldn't pull up Ngannou's massive.
I don't know how to find that shot. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, hold on. Here's the rule. New York State Athletic Commission, breast implants. Due to the concern over rupture, boxers who have breast implants are not eligible to box in New York. Boxers who have had breast reduction surgery are eligible to box. That right now, that's current. That's an official New York State Athletic Commission rule. But I think that was changed because Misha was given permission.
Next week as well.
I know you were. But Misha,
sake,
didn't she fight though?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she fought. Yeah, she fought. What's her face? Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington beat her. I think that was Misha Tate's retirement fight.
It was a strawweight fight between Cynthia Calvallo and Pearl Gonzalez. Was almost canceled at the last minute due to Gonzalez having breast implants. The UFC talked to the commission, and the fight ended up taking place. So I guess they can make an exception or something. That is interesting, though. I wonder the science behind that. If it actually could rupture, or if that's just some old-timey, fucking dude being like, our titty's going to pop,
Yeah, maybe that does sound a bit old-fashioned, but you never know. Maybe it is going to pop. I don't know. I'm not an expert on boob jobs, but maybe. I mean, they do put a kind of pouch in there, and I guess if you got punched hard enough. I think I've heard of people's tits popping anyway before. I think that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like that? I guess you can't even say anything anymore because you're married.
Do I like what?
Fake tits. Yeah,
I'm not against it. I'm all for self-improvement, Lewis. Regardless of what it is, physical, mental, emotional.
You're a feminist.
I'm a feminist first.
Really
I really am. I'm all about women. I'm all about. Listen, if you want to go out there and make your tits big, good for you. I'm proud of you. I am. I'm proud of you. Just do you. Oh yeah, is that the picture? I don't know. My contact lenses have dried out, so I can hardly bloody see.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just the lighting or the pleats. It's the pleats.
No. Yeah, I wish.
Demetrius Johnson has his hand down Francis's pants by the looks of it.
That's really hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, this is the new low for the podcast.
It's a new low.
We're staring at Francis Ngannou's cock right now, guys. For the audio listeners, you can subscribe at Gas Digital Network to watch us stare at a man's cock.
Staring at Francis Ngannou's cock in sheer disbelief. Like, wow. That's obviously not erect either. He's like, wow, that's impressive. That's just impressive.
Just hanging out. Lazy afternoon.
Capable. That is what's capable.
I mean, look, it's fine. I'm not opposed to appreciating another man. I've never really stared at another man's cock like this way.
And hope never again. I mean, listen, if you want to, fair play, good for you. Shall we move on?
Yeah,
Should we talk about something other than Paige's tits and Francis's cock?
All right, let's
just stick on those two subjects for the rest of the podcast.
No, let's move on. So let's talk about this. Nate Diaz, apparently he killed the GSP fight rumor. This is on the Nate Diaz or the Diaz Facebook page. GSP cheated when he fought my brother and was on steroids. He was overweight and they let him be because we were in Montreal and his boy gave Nick a bad IV. Now they're selling you wolf tickets on me, GSP. You can clear that shit up. Or fight yourself, fight yourself a cheater.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. Here's the thing. I like Nick and Nate Diaz. We're not particularly close, but I'm a fan of them. I like watching them fight. But they do come out with a lot of excuses. First of all, Nick missed weight, and what was it? Because they were in Montreal. And then he says, and then George's boy gave Nick a dodgy IV. I mean, come on, Jesus Christ. How about you just lost the fight? How about you just lost the fight? You know what I mean? Fair and square.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Diaz brothers. Biggest fan in the world. But no matter what way you want to slice it, GSP just was the better fighter that day. The style just was, I think 10 out of 10 times, it's just not going to work out for Nick. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Or Nate. I mean, both that style is very, very difficult for their style. When you see Nick and Nate lose, typically it's them getting wrestle fucked. And George St. Pierre is the king of the wrestle fuck. So
yeah. All right, so that was that. He dispelled the myth about him fighting GSP. You never know; might still happen. Money talks. If the UFC want to make that fight, they can certainly make that fight. And I'm sure that Nate Diaz, if it was a good enough offer, would take the fight because you'd look at it in a way that maybe you could try and get revenge for your brother. And they are very close as brothers. So you never know. Maybe that fight might still happen yet. But what's going on with the police? I hear that there's a warrant for Nate Diaz's arrest. Is that correct?
Is it Nick? Oh, it's Nate.
I think it's Nate. I saw something online, and I'm assuming you have the article in front of you. That's why I'm asking you. But I think, did he allegedly punch Clay Guida in the face at an event recently, and Guida's pressed charges, and apparently they're looking for Nate Diaz. Is that correct, Lewis? Tell me that you're looking at the story, please.
Yes, I'm obviously looking at the story right now. Why wouldn't I have the story pulled up the entire time as you've been introducing it?
Because you said, I think it's Nick. And I'm like, no, I glanced at the story a couple of days ago, and I know it's Nate. If you are, in fact, staring at the story as I'm talking, you would fucking well know that it's Nate Diaz. But is it Nate or is it Nick?
It's definitely Nate, 100%. And basically, they were at something, and somebody got into a scuffle, and I don't know anything about it. All right, right here. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Department will be looking into Nate Diaz and his involvement in a near brawl that broke out Friday night at Combate America's event. Deputies responded to the event, which took place at the McClellan Conference Center in McClellan Park, California, after a scuffle broke out. Clay Guida, who's accusing Nate Diaz of battery, per Sacramento sheriff. So they got into a thing, and Diaz shoved Guida from behind unprompted, causing Guida to stumble into a metal guardrail and split his lip open. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lewis? What's your take?
I don't know, man. This is what the Diaz brothers do. If the Diaz brothers are in the house and they're not smacking somebody around or pushing people or creating a little bit of a scuffle, then I don't.
Well, hold on. There is a piece to this puzzle that you're missing out. I think prior to this happening, look this up. Clay Guida was talking shit because Clay Guida beat Nate Diaz back in the day. And I think Clay Guida is trying to get another fight, and he was talking a bit of shit to Nate Diaz. He called him out. He 2-0. I don't know. He insulted 209 or whatever. That's all a bit stupid, if you ask me. But he talked some shit, and then he got Nate Diaz, and I think Nate Diaz pushed him. At the end of the day, you go out talking shit against somebody that's volatile like Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz, then you're kind of asking for it.
You know what they do? Look, here's the thing. Nate Diaz doesn't have to win a fight. Neither Diaz brother really needs to win a fight ever again, and they will continue to be top billing. They'll continue to be a fight or two away from the title shot. I think that they've there's a few people in this sport who've sort of built a legacy or built a name that is a brand. You know what I'm saying? That is truly a brand.
For sure.
And I think the Diaz brothers are truly a brand in themselves. If they wanted to do Diaz brothers potato chips or Diaz brothers weed tincture or Diaz brothers fucking energy drinks, they could, I could see them kind of doing that in any capacity. So Nate, if I'm him, the George St. Pierre fight is probably the biggest fight in the world. Why would he want to do any other fight? I don't really get it.
Yeah, I have no idea. Certainly Nate Diaz said, so I'm just trying to adjust my seat. There we go. I'm in the middle. Nate Diaz said he only wants to be a part of big fights. There isn't a bigger fight than George St. Pierre. All right. Okay. Sorry. Pardon me. Conor McGregor would be a bigger fight than George St. Pierre. But still, that Conor fight is probably what he's holding out for. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Conor comes back. He has to face Khabib. Simple as that. The writing is on the wall. It is the rightful fight anyway because he was the champion. He got stripped. Now Khabib is the champion. Tony Ferguson is injured. So therefore, it's got to be Khabib. Not to mention the fights with all the stuff, throwing the dolly through the bus window, yada, yada, yada. The promo is already done. The fight hypes itself. So that's going to be the fight that Conor fights next. So Diaz has to fight somebody. Who else is bigger? Nobody bigger than George St. Pierre. And of course, as I said before, I think that would be a case of him trying to get some revenge on his brother. Now, I don't think he would get revenge on his brother. I don't think he'd beat George St. Pierre. I think George would probably beat Nate in a more dominant fashion than what he did Nick. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but that's how I feel. Nate is the smaller of the two. Generally, a bigger guy beats a smaller guy. So there you go. You see my math on that one.
Can I ask you a question? If those two fought, I'm of the thought process that I think Nate is probably the better fighter now. I feel like he's more well-rounded. I feel like he has than Nick.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Nate Diaz is very, very good, and he's had some amazing fights in his career against people in the lightweight division. He did go up to 170, didn't go well. I remember Roy McDonald smashing him. Nick Diaz was around forever, man. Nick Diaz had some amazing legendary fights. Look at what he did to Paul Daly. Outboxed Paul Daly, stood toe-to-toe, had him backed up against the fence, knocked him out, dropped him. The submission over, what was his face in Pride? Gomi.
Yeah.
He did the go-go platter. Some amazing, knocked out Robbie Lawler. He's had some amazing knockouts, some fantastic performances. Nick is as old school as they get, in every sense of the term, as a personality, as a fighter, in many, many ways. He's got old school values. And listen, he hasn't fought in a long time. He went 5 rounds with Anderson Silva. That's not an easy thing to do. I think Nick is the better fighter. He's the bigger version. I think he has better boxing. I don't know. Listen, both Diaz's are very, very good fighters. I enjoy them both. I like watching them both. I would like to see Diaz against GSP at 155. That would be an incredibly hard, tough cut for GSP. But still, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I can't see why Diaz would turn that down.
I'm just talking about when you look at what they do and you look at their body of work, all of Nick's success was pre his second UFC run. It was in Strikeforce. He went over to Pride. He had some fucking great fights. But the reality is, look at it's not as impressive of a win list. Yes, he did have the fights against GSP and he went the distance with Anderson Silva. These are fights that he lost to Carlos Condit. Those big fights, he ended up losing. Now, Nate, he lost some big fights too. But Nate, if you look at just on Sherdog, the red and the green, Nate has been fighting the absolute best of the absolute best. The level of competition that Nate's been fighting, in my opinion, has been a lot higher. He had middling success at 170 pounds, but honestly, so did Nick in the UFC.
Well, he didn't have middling success. He had terrible success. He didn't win a single fight.
He
did win one fight against Conor McGregor, okay, but that wasn't a fight at 170.
Yeah, it was. Technically.
Do you think that was, Nick, do you honestly believe that was two welterweights fighting?
255-pounders fighting that did not cut weight. It was good for them.
Exactly. So Nate Diaz, his last fight was a loss to Conor McGregor. Prior to that, a win over Conor McGregor. Both very, very good fights. Everybody enjoyed those. A good win over Michael Johnson. Prior to that, he lost to Rafael dos Anjos. No shame there. After that, it was a win over Gray Maynard. I remember that fight. He looked exceptional against Gray Maynard. But, Gray Maynard, towards the end of his career there. Then he lost to Josh Thompson, knockout. Then he lost to Benson Henderson. He gave Benson Henderson a good run for his money, though. And then before that, went on a 3-fight win streak. Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone, Takanori Gomi. Yeah, I
never knew that. I thought he did win a couple fights at 170, didn't he, Harrington?
No, he lost two. He lost to Don Young Kim and he lost to Roy McDonald. All right, he did win that one against Conor McGregor, but that was two lightweights that just didn't want to cut weight, So, yeah, listen, there's some good names on there, but I don't think it's fair to say that
Rory
he's fought better
Markham
competition than Nick. And to be honest, this is a stupid conversation. It's a conversation that either of them aren't going to have. They're not going to sit there and argue and say, yeah, man, I fought better competition than you, man. They're not. Is that a bad impression?
That was a terrible impression. And I think this is a healthy, spirited debate about who the better Diaz brother is. I think that's a fucking great conversation.
It actually is. It actually, when you break it down like that, you're talking about who's fought the best competition. I think Nick Diaz fought the best competition. We just went through Nate Diaz's list, okay? Now we're going to do Nick Diaz, if I can see anything, because my bloody contact lenses have dried out big time.
I got it right here. All right, so UFC second run got the win over BJ Penn, which, in my opinion, to this day, may be my favorite fight of all time.
Well, hold on. No. Let's start with his last fight. Was a
no contest.
But he initially lost to Anderson Silva, which was a great fight. Remember that first fight? Nick Diaz lying on the floor and propping his head up as if he's in bed. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. He's fighting Anderson Silva, the great Anderson Silva, and he lies down and fucks around. And I just thought that was awesome because that's what Anderson Silva does to people. And Nick Diaz said, fuck you, and did it right back. And I immediately, I was a fan. I mean, I was already a fan, but you know what I mean. Prior to that, lost to George St. Pierre and then lost to Carlos Condit. Former welterweight champion, best fighter of all time. Prior to that, interim champion. Okay, so far we're on three of the greatest fighters of all time. And
he lost
Silva.
Decisively.
Silva, by decision, right? Greatest fighter of all time, maybe. Prior to that, George St. Pierre, greatest fighter of all time, maybe. Yeah, lost to both of them, but still took them both to a decision. Prior to that, Carlos Condit, mean, bad motherfucker. He's not walking the park for anybody.
Greatest fighter of all time?
Not greatest fighter of all time, but, kiss my ass. Prior to that, BJ Penn. What are you going to say about that fight?
Well, here's the thing.
BJ Penn was one of the greatest of all time.
And I mean this. This is maybe the most excited I've ever been in a fight. That fight was so fucking good. I remember it was the 2 days before Halloween. I remember this clear as day. 2 days before Halloween, because I was dressed up as Tito Ortiz. I was Tito Ortiz that year for Halloween. There's video of it on YouTube. And I'm just losing my fucking mind in a bar. The only adult dressed up 2 days before. It's not even Halloween. It's 2 days before Halloween. For no reason. I got a fucking flame hat.
You just had some ill-fitting 80s shorts with flames on it. You thought you called yourself Tito Ortiz.
I was just wearing flaming shorts at a gay bar.
And you dyed your hair blonde because you thought it was going to look cool. Okay? So now, when people look at those pictures, you say, oh, no. I was dressing up as Tito Ortiz for Halloween. The problem is, it wasn't even fucking Halloween, was it, Lewis?
No, it wasn't. It was 2 days before. But look, when you look at the BJ Penn fight, let's get real, dude. This was BJ Penn at the beginning of the end.
Yes,
the beginning of the end.
It was. But even still, the conversation was who's fought the best competition. So far, and we're only into Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Carlos Condit, and BJ Penn.
He lost to all of them.
Greatest fighters that ever stepped into the octagon. But let's continue, because that's what we're going to do. After that, Paul Daly, an amazing fighter. Great fighter.
First of all, the drop-off that we just fucking had from the greatest fighters of all time, and then now we're down to Paul Daly, and God bless him. He is a great fighter, but...
Pardon me. Listen, Lewis, if anyone's going to condescendingly say, God bless them, That's me. That's my line. Okay. And you can't continually fight the greatest fighters of all time in your career. There's only a couple of people that can be in the running for greatest fighter of all time. You can't have a record full of, every single one of them is the greatest fighter of all time. That's not how being the greatest fighter of all time works. Now, can I please stop saying greatest fighter of all time? Jesus Christ. GOAT.
Listen,
right.
you can't. Now you're about to go into his 100 fucking wins in a row against.
Hold on. By the way, I know what you're going to say. Now there's a drop off in competition, but there is a catch. He was in Strikeforce.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
There was,
So he was fighting Strikeforce.
You said it like you were making some fucking real point there, and it was nothing.
Yeah, no, he's fighting Strikeforce people, so they're not the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he went on a run of
what those Strikeforce motherfuckers like to think. Paul Daly, Evangelista Santos, KJ Noons, Hayato Sakurai, Marius Zaromskis. Hey, Marius Zaromskis was a bad mother effer back in the day. Scott Smith, Frank Shamrock, Thomas Denny. All right, I'm losing this argument now.
Yeah,
Mushi, Kubri.
I think Harrington could go. I think Harrington would choke out Mushin Corbry in the third round, guaranteed.
Right, listen. All right, there's a few dodgy ones on here. I'll give you that. I mean, who's that? Mushin Corbry. Yeah, I would take Harrington over him. Katsuya Inoue, KJ Noons, Mike Aina, Takanori Gomi. Now we're back in the UFC. Gleason Tebow, tough guy. Yeah. Josh Neer, Ray Steinbeis, Sean Shirk, Joe Riggs. Here we go, Diego Sanchez. I don't know. All right. Well, they've both fought some good guys.
Well, here's the deal, right? He went on this run in Strikeforce. Then he's back. It's fucking Nick Diaz back in the UFC. Holy shit. Gets his fight against BJ. It's like, holy shit. One of the best fighters of all time. But at the time, we didn't know that BJ was about to really fall off. Whatever, I don't know what it exactly was, but it seemed to be like a shift in competition, or it was maybe just another evolution. The level of athleticism got there. BJ just started losing. He never won another fight since that fight. Okay. And then Nick Diaz went and lost 3 fights decisively. It wasn't even close. Some people argued the George St. Pierre fight was close. I fucking love Nick. It wasn't close. Okay. Nick lost those fights.
It wasn't close. It wasn't close. He lost that fight, but still, he lost to Carlos Condit. He lost to George St. Pierre, and he lost to Anderson Silva. Listen, there's no shame in losing to those 3 guys. I don't know what you're trying to do. 1 minute you're telling me, Lewis, that you're the biggest fan of Nick and Nate Diaz, and the next minute you're trying to diminish their records.
I'm just saying that Nate Diaz right now recently has a win over Conor McGregor, win over Michael Johnson, win over Gray Maynard. He's got a couple losses to Josh Thompson, Rafael dos Anjos. These guys are champions. These guys are Rafael has got the championship fight coming up. Conor McGregor, current champion or just had it stripped. You're talking about he's only lost to the best of the best. Even Benson Henderson at the time, was that a title fight? Yeah, it was a title fight. I mean, you're talking about the best of the best. Also, Nate loses to. And in a division, his division at 155 is a tougher division for all intents and purposes. And then he went and he fought.
Whoa. For a long time, welterweight was regarded as the toughest division.
No, welterweight was regarded as.
Stop. Lewis, listen. Slow your roll. Don't get all fucking Karen Bryant on me. Don't start thinking you know the shit. I'm the MMA guy. You make the bad jokes. Don't fucking tell me what wasn't regarded the best division of all fucking time, okay? A while ago, it was light heavyweight.
When?
Then after that, prior to that, it was welterweight.
When
Around
was welterweight?
That fucking time, the welterweight division was the strongest by far in the UFC. Certainly wasn't the fucking lightweight division. The lightweight division is now. The lightweight division probably has the most talent, but it wasn't back then. So please.
Welterweight had Matt Hughes on top, dominating forever. Then George St. Pierre on top, dominating forever. Then it sort of got a little bit mixed up after that. After George St. Pierre, we had fucking a paper champion because George never lost that title. And then it's they've been throwing that title around a little bit. It hasn't been this crazy, unbelievable. When is the reign of the welterweight division being the marquee division, the toughest test in the UFC? I remember when it was 205.
And then, Mister, I only started watching UFC after Tough Season 7.
That's not true.
Okay.
I watched the first UFC live on pay-per-view.
Hold on, listen. Nate Diaz lost to Rory McDonald, lost to Don Young Kim, beat Marcus Davis, beat Rory Markham, lost to Gray Maynard, beat Melvin Gillard, lost to Joe Stevenson,
Joe Daddy,
lost to Clay Guida.
Yeah, okay.
Dropping a mic, although it's not. New iPhone X.
If you drop that microphone, we're going to fuck up the audio again. I will kill you. Do not drop that mic.
I'm not dropping this proverbial microphone. It's a brand new iPhone that I just got yesterday, which I'm you know, when you get a new iPhone, you're like, I'm not going to scratch it. I'm going to keep the case on the cover. I'm in that mode right now. Okay. Otherwise, I would have dropped.
That's how I feel about sneakers. Like the first 2 weeks that I have a new pair of sneakers, I'm like, don't touch my fucking sneakers.
Yeah, don't step on them.
Yeah.
You're wiping them. You get a little bit of shit on them. You're like wiping them off. Yeah. Then it goes out the window. Anyway.
So you know, send us a tweet. Put it on the Twitter, Harrington. Who's the better Diaz brother, Nick or Nate? And we'll see who the fans agree with. I think it's Nate. Michael Bisping says it's Nick. He dropped the mic. So I can't argue.
I dropped the iPhone X. All right. So anyway, this weekend, I guess we should talk about this. There's a fight in Liverpool. Are you aware of this, Lewis?
Yeah. You were supposed to be there. What happened?
I was supposed to be there. I was even contemplating fighting on it at one point. That never happened. Let me bring up the fight card here.
It's Thompson versus Till. Stephen Thompson. I believe. I think Harrington was surprised by this. Darren Till is the underdog in the fight. I think that makes sense.
I think it makes perfect sense, if I'm honest. Darren Till looked amazing against Donald Cerrone. The problem with that is that Donald Cerrone is a natural lightweight. I don't really think he had much business fighting at 170. Darren Till is a very, very large 170-pounder. I think he's taller than me. I think he's 6'2", and he's good. He's very, very good. Donald Cerrone is inconsistent. He's very inconsistent, and he's a slow starter. I'm just looking at Darren Till's record. So he beat Donald Cerrone. Prior to that, it was, Bohan Veklovic. I don't know that guy. Went to a decision with him. Jesse Ayari went to a decision again. And prior to that, went to a draw with Nicholas Dolby. Now, he could be finding his stride. He might have improved himself, whatever. The reason I say I agree with him being an underdog against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is because Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is one of the very best in the division. 2 razor-close fights with Tyron Woodley. And prior to that, nobody beats Stephen Thompson. I'm sure there is, without looking at his record and boring people with the record looking. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 losses on there. But he's knocked out Robert Whittaker. I remember him doing that. And he's very, very good. In this fight, the way I see it, you've got what I like to call British Muay Thai against American kickboxing. That's pretty much how you break this fight down and which style is going to be better. I think Darren Till has the better hands. He's got a beautiful straight left hand, which is it's money. It's beautiful. He's very, very fast with it. By all accounts, he's got a decent ground game. But he likes to get on the inside. From what I've seen, I might be wrong. Maybe he likes to fight on the outside as well. But from what I've seen, he likes to fight on the inside. He has a very, very good tie clinch. As I said, he has a good straight left. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he's got that American kickboxing, American karate style. The hands are low, and he fights at a distance. And he can keep his fight at a distance and beat Darren Till, from the distance. I mean, it all depends what happens on the night, of course. One good shot changes everything. One wheel kick from Stephen Thompson and Till might be on the backside. One left hand from Darren Till and Wonderboy might be rocked all over the place and Darren Till follows it up and gets the win. Either way, it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm working the Fox desk this weekend in LA, so that's why I'm not going to be in Liverpool, which is a shame. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What do you think, Lewis?
Okay, look, as we're talking about this fight, it reminds me we have to mention one of our incredible sponsors, which is BetDSI.com, one of the best websites in the world if you want to gamble, which is now legal. They just made it legal to gamble in the United States, which is a huge deal. And BetDSI, they've been with the show for a long time. They got a super easy-to-use interface. They make it nice and easy to get paid out. Michael Bisping, who do you think is going to win this fight this weekend? It's 1 p.m., which I love, Eastern. I get to hang out this afternoon in the afternoon time and watch it. You got it happening from Liverpool. Your boy Darren Till, your fellow countryman, or Stephen Thompson, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I will tell you this. I'm not happy about it being a morning fight because my call time at Fox is like 3:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning, which is a bitch. But, listen, there's something about being the hometown guy. And with betdsi.com, if you use the promo code ME25 just for registering, as you know, if you listen to the show, you will get $25 just to register. Now, Darren Till has got a very, very tough fight on his hands. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is rightly the favourite, but there's something about the hometown advantage. And the Liverpool people are fiercely, they're so proud of themselves when one of their own makes it. And the fact that Darren Till is main eventing at the first event in Liverpool, a Scouser, one of their own headlining, the crowd are going to be incredibly hostile to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now, he is a professional, so that won't matter too much, but I think it will get to him. So listen, if you want to pick someone to put that free $25 on, put it on Darren Till. Put it on the new kid on the block, on the rising star. Me25 is the promo code. $25 just for registering. And if you want to get fancy and you want to make some real money, put some cash on there. BetDSI give you a 200% bonus match, as we know. Put $50 down. That's $150 plus your $25 for registering. That's $175. Jesus Christ, you could get rich.
All right, let's get back into it. This, in my opinion, is the best fight at 170 pounds. I think that this should be, in my opinion, the winner of this fight is, I know that they're doing the Colby versus RDA fight for the interim title. Interim titles, I don't know. I don't really have so much respect for them. Tyron Woodley's still the champion in my mind. So yeah, in my opinion, the winner of this fight is the second best fighter at 170 pounds behind Tyron Woodley, and that's who I'm much more excited to see. And I should say, I know we've seen Stephen Thompson twice against Tyron. The UFC, just like me, I want to see Till win just because I like seeing a new contender come out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think the UFC is sort of, banking on Darren Till beating Stephen Thompson, undefeated fighter from Great Britain. Dude, they love somebody from a different part of the world. They can get an entire country on his shoulders. So, yeah, dude, I think Darren Till's awesome. I think he's a really, really tough fighter. I think Stephen Thompson's awesome too. And I like Stephen Thompson a lot. We interviewed him on the radio show back in the day, and he was probably the sweetest guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, no, Stephen Thompson's absolutely awesome. He still runs his karate school, still coaching little kids, even as busy as he is and with the success that he's had. So that's very commendable. I want to touch on something you just said there, and you're right, Lewis. For the UFC, listen, whoever wins, they roll with the punches. But I guess for business, it's better that Darren Till wins because, as you say, undefeated from the UK. I'm kind of going out to pasture, so to speak. He can pick up where I left off. And if Wonderboy wins, I don't see him getting a title shot anytime soon. That's the catch in that situation. That's why I would say, from a business perspective, it's probably better that Darren Till wins because, Wonderboy, excuse me, as good as he is, isn't going to get another title shot anytime soon. Simply because those two fights, whilst they were very, very close, They just weren't entertaining. Certainly that second one. The first one wasn't bad, actually, but the second one kind of left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. That doesn't mean that it wasn't a strategic fight. That doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of skill on display, because there certainly was, but both guys respected each other so much, neither wanted to pull the trigger. Yeah. So they've got a hard time selling that fight straight away. Fortunately, they don't have to. As you said, Dos Anjos and Covington, they're fighting for the interim belt. There'll probably be Dos Anjos fighting Tyron Woodley at some point soon. And if Till wins, then yeah, he's certainly going up towards the top of the pack. I just think it might be a little bit too much too soon for Darren Till, but we'll see. I don't know. As I say, one left hand. I mean, his left hand is money. It's very, very fast. It's very accurate, precise. He's got great timing with it. And there's a lot of power in it as well. And he believes in himself. That's part of the battle. Anything you do, I talk about it all the time. You've got to believe in yourself. And Darren Till is talking the talk. He's walking the walk as well. He's undefeated, but he has not struggled, but he has, he hasn't made mincemeat of everybody, but it doesn't matter. Some of these lesser known guys that aren't necessarily household names, it doesn't mean that they can't give you a tough fight. It doesn't mean they're not very, very good mixed martial artists. It just means they haven't been promoted or they haven't got the breaks,
Yeah, it's I'm getting sorry. I started thinking about something as we're talking about Woodley, and you had mentioned that the fights that he had against Stephen Thompson, they weren't super exciting, and then of course he had that fight against Maia, which Dana White threw him under the fucking bus. That was a really boring fight. So much so that even the man whose job it is to promote his brand was like, "Fuck it, I don't dig this." I almost feel like Woodley gets sort of a bad rap. Am I wrong or am I right in saying this? I think that Woodley's actually a much more exciting fighter than George St. Pierre, even at his most boring. I feel like George St. Pierre.
Woodley?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't
Think
know.
about
Come
this.
on.
Think about dude. Or
listen, you're forcing me into a corner. I don't want to badmouth Tyron Woodley. I think he's a terrific champion. I actually like the guy. And you're right. He had some tough fights. He did. You know, I mean, when I say tough fights, I mean tough from a fan perspective. You know, the Maya fight. Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting thing, but you got to remember, and the Wonder Boy fight before, it wasn't the most exciting thing, and the Kelvin Gastelum fight wasn't the most exciting thing, but he's got the belt. He's the champion. He's the man everybody wants to be, and it's a difficult position. It's a lot of pressure, you know, and when you fight somebody like Damian Maia, who is so technical, and if he goes to the floor can have you in a world of trouble, you got to be careful. And when you fight somebody like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, yeah, again, you've got to be careful, you know. Also, you know, I will say this, that's why you get paid so much. That's why you're in that position. You have got to, at some point, throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it, let's go for it. You know, that's what I would do.
Well, I almost feel like George St. Pierre never did that. Still. George never really did that. George never threw caution to the wind. George fought very, very safe fights. The crowd was just really behind him.
When
and I think
George St. Pierre first got on the scene, he was very, very exciting and very dynamic.
Well, that's where he got the name Rush.
Towards the end, you're right, Lewis. You know, he was predictable. He did just take people down and lie on top of them and look to ground and pound. I guess it's kind of that same mindset, you know, the same mindset that perhaps Tyron Woodley has. You don't want to lose what you've got.
Yeah, well,
it's so hard to get to where you are, and everybody wants to take what you've got. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, look at it from their perspective.
Well, Tyron did have a bunch of knockouts, and he did have a bunch of really exciting fights early, and then it's kind of similar to GSP. He got the title, and then I don't know if he's fighting safer, smarter, whatever way you want to put it, but he seems to, some of these fights, you look at the last 3 fights, you know, they were a little bit slower. Do you think that maybe he's playing it safe? Because what I notice is, and this is very much like, you don't even realize it in the moment, right? But you sort of follow the crowd, right? The crowd was so behind George St. Pierre, he'd land a takedown, and the crowd would be going fucking ape shit. When most people land a takedown and get into somebody's guard, the crowd's like, all right, move on, let's fucking go on. But GSP, Randy Couture's another example. Randy would, you know, land a takedown, do that. Dude, the crowd was just so behind him, and for some reason, T. Woodley, whatever the reason is, I think the crowd just isn't behind it. So I don't know. It just seems very strange because I feel like people hate on him, and I don't think he's, at the very least, any less exciting than George St. Pierre.
You know, it's funny. You just made me think of something then, because when the crowd is super behind somebody and anything they do, they cheer or whatever, that does influence the judges. I remember, of course, from my narcissistic standpoint, of course, when I fought Vanderlei Silva in Australia. So I went down to Australia and I'm thinking, well, of course, I'm English. There's a lot of expats in Australia. You know, we kind of colonized the country back in the day. Maybe I'll be the fan favorite. And I went down there. My God, I don't think I've been booed quite so violently in my life as the first time I fought in Australia against Vanderlei Silva. Now, the problem is, of course, Vanderlei used to fight in Pride. You know, very, you know, kind of close to Australia. Vanderlei's a fan favorite. And we had that fight. And for my money, I dominated the fight. But every time Vanderlei would come close to landing at a punch, the crowd would just erupt into massive applause and this and that. And I feel that that's where the judges, for sure.
Yeah.
Off on a tangent there.
Well, no, it's very true, though. I think that just in general, with swaying the judges, swaying the commentators, right? So you have Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg or whoever, you know, the commentator team, you know, was at the time. It's like the crowd is just kind of reacting to it. And it's like, even if somebody doesn't land it, then the crowd gives a big pop. You know, you're not there at every angle. This happens all the time where, you know, the commentator or I'm watching it going like, oh, did that land? Unless you're, I'm assuming if you're in the corner, you've cornered guys, I'm sure plenty of times. You can see things, I'm assuming very close up when you're right there. But if you're in the crowd, even if you have fucking great seats, dude, you can't really see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know what's landing or what's not landing. You have to kind of, you know, understand martial arts, I think, at a higher level to really even get it. So half the time it's just the crowd going apeshit. You're like, he fucking went crazy.
But that's why they have multiple judges, you know what I mean, and which are positioned at different parts
They do
around the
sit at
cage.
different
Because,
sides.
as you say, sometimes even when I'm, if I'm front row, and then sometimes I go sit down next to Dana and have a little chat for a while. Obviously, there's no better seat in the house than that. But still, sometimes your vision is obscured either by the pillar of the octagon, or they're just at an angle, or the punch is from the other side and you can't see. So that's why, as I said, there's 3 judges at different angles so they can see. So at least, hopefully, 2 out of the 3 judges see that it lands, if not all 3. So yeah. So there you go. You just mentioned Joe Rogan, by the way. I believe I'm on his podcast this Wednesday.
No, really?
This Wednesday.
That's
this
awesome.
Wednesday, yeah.
I'm
So should be fun.
I'm pumped. Yeah, dude, that'll be incredible.
23rd, which is Wednesday, but we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks about it. So, but I'm one of those people, I don't need to reinforce it, but I'm assuming May 23rd we're locked in. Joe Rogan podcast this Wednesday. Check it out.
That is sick, dude. I'm excited to see that. I think that you and him are gonna have a fucking really.
I'm not. I'm kind of nervous.
Why?
Not nervous, because it's like, I'll come on here and we just waffle whatever comes into our mouth. But
Is that what we're doing? We're waffling.
We're kind of waffling, yeah. Unless my microphone's broken, we're going to shut everything down and restart it and this and that and piece it all together in post.
By the way, you just said waffle, and I saw Harrington's ears perk up.
These senses of waffle. No, I've got nothing to sell. I've got no you know what I mean? I'm not on there, so I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but that's Joe's problem, I guess. He's hosting it, so he can ask me some questions. I'll give him some answers. I'll give him what he wants.
No, you guys are going to have a fucking great conversation. I don't know. I think that's incredible. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting show. That's great, dude. Because I know you were talking about doing it for a while, and you had you said you wanted to do it when you were closer to
there was
retiring.
just a few reasons why. Just schedules, to be honest. He had a couple of openings. I didn't realize. I mean, of course, it's a very, very successful podcast, but he books his guests way in advance, because I was like, there was a while ago he threw a date out, and I said, well, what about 2 weeks after that? He said, no, I'm fully booked up until May 23rd. I was like, oh shit, wow. You're booked up that far in advance. Good for you. Amazing. Well done.
Yeah,
very organized, just like our podcast. Very organized.
Well, when I did his show, it was the most social media attention I've gotten from anything I've ever done in my entire life. It was like nonstop for like a week straight. Yeah. So
okay, should we do some questions, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
I want to let's get some questions going. I got them in a second, but I want to ask you this, Michael Bisping. I thought this was. Did you watch Cobra Kai yet?
No, I didn't. No.
Dog, go watch Cobra Kai. You're gonna do right now. You're gonna hang up with me. You're going to go watch the first 2 episodes for free on YouTube. You're going to take your credit card out, and you're going to purchase YouTube Red. I promise you. I guarantee you. You grew up in the Karate Kid movies, obviously.
No, of course I did, yeah. Of course, Daniel-san, all that jazz, wax on, wax off. Of course, yeah, I liked it, yeah. But I will say this, everyone that I know, they all say it's fantastic. They really do. My agent says it's awesome. A good friend of mine, Yaz, he says it's awesome. I hear a lot of good things. So you watch the first 2 on YouTube,
for free,
and then you have to pay for the others.
Yep, you do a YouTube Red account, but you get but it's very smart.
Drug dealer tactics. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, the after school.
First couple of hits for free.
First of all, where the fuck was that guy? I never got any hits for free ever.
Yeah. Couple of hits for free, exactly. Yeah, no, you always had to buy it. Not that I've ever done drugs, but that's bullshit. Yeah. Okay. So and how much is it per episode, and where do you buy it?
No, it's not per episode. They you just gotta subscribe to YouTube Red. It's like $10 a month or whatever. And I don't even give a shit about YouTube Red. I gotta go cancel it. But I'll tell you right now, they did a very good job as well, because I just tried to steal it. I tried to find them for free everywhere. And they must have a full-time employee making sure it does not go up anywhere.
You just couldn't find it anywhere.
Nope. And I gave in. It was so good. After the second episode ended, I was like, there's no fucking way I can't watch this. It's so good. Bisping, I promise you watch it. Watch the first 2 episodes. I swear to God, you're like, yep, I bought it. I spent my entire day watching the whole season.
I like YouTube, as I said last week, but I was a little bit annoyed because I got a new phone, as I said, and this morning as I was getting a haircut, you might notice I got a nice snazzy cut. As I'm doing it, a thing pops up, an advertisement for live TV on YouTube. And so I thought, yeah, great, awesome, because I don't watch direct TV. I just watch Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon. So I don't actually need the live TV. And if I thought I can get live news on my phone or stream it to the TV, fantastic. It says, click here to start your free trial. So I click the free trial, and then I get an email saying after 28 days, it's $39.99 per month. you know. So I'm like, fuck that. So I've cancelled it. I hope. So I've got a bit of a ill taste in my mouth from YouTube right now. But all right, I will check it out, Lewis. And on that note, should we do some questions?
Let's get some questions. All right. So here,
Let's go.
if you guys want to join the conversation, shoot us an email. bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. We always pick a few questions rather, to end the show with. First question is from Dave. I'm from a small town called Walsall in the Black Country.
Walsall.
Walsall in the Black Country, just outside of Birmingham, the UK. Hi, Mike. Hi, Lewis. Big fan of the show.
Walsall is where Paul Taylor, I believe, is from. I could be mistaken, but I believe Paul Taylor, UFC fighter, that's where he was from. Walsall. Yes, continue.
Okay, so I've been a big fan of Bisping for about 10 years and really appreciate what you've done for British MMA. And Lewis, I love your comedy and your cunty sense of humor. Thank you. Anyway, I have a question for Mike and for Lewis. First, Bisping, if you could add one fighter's specific skill set to your game, either past or present, what would it be and why? For example, you could add Barboza's kicks, Royce Gracie's submissions, Dan Henderson's H-bomb.
Yeah, we get it. Okay, you don't, fucking GSP's mental tricks, fucking Anderson Silva's kicks, Randy Couture's wrestling. Yeah, you don't have to go on. You know, Ryu's Hadouken and Bison's fucking thing. You know, the Dragon Punch. Yeah, I get it. Chun-Li's spinning bird kick. And so on and so forth.
So which would you add if you could add one specific fighter skill set to your current...
What's this guy's name?
This guy's name is Dave. He's a big fan, 10 years.
Dave, love you, Dave. Thanks for listening to the show. Please go away and subscribe to YouTube and subscribe to iTunes and leave a 5-star review and tell your friends. But please, step your game up with the questions. Please. Lewis, add it. Go on.
Okay, for Lewis... I've heard about your upcoming fight, and I hope you fuck him up, and I will. But my question is to you, if Michael Bisping trained you full-time 6 months, how do you think you'd get on in the original UFC? Personally, I think you could beat the sumo guy, but I'm not sure about the rest.
Hold on. This isn't the answer to the question. Lewis answered the question.
Well, he asked me a different question.
Oh, he asked you. We don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Lewis gets his own questions now. My God, you are big time these days.
I would add the left hook of Michael Bisping to my repertoire, and that's it.
Larry's left hook.
That's all I need is Michael Bisping's left hook, and then
Larry's left hook. That's all you need.
I would add Ngannou's cock slap.
Oh my God! Yeah.
No, how do I think I do in the
just Johnson?
Dude, those UFC guys, the original UFC guys, I know people talk about it like it's like...
Footsteps of Marco Huas. I'd add some Marco Huas footsteps all day, every day.
I would add the breast bouncing of Paige Van Zandt. Just running up and down a beach. That's what I would do.
Louis, at the moment, it was kind of funny. You know, leave it there. Leave it there. You know. Let's not readdress it. We had the moment. Move on. Keep it classy.
No, I don't think I could beat anybody in the original UFCs. I think all those guys were actually pretty tough guys, too. I know it was like the story was that it was an advertisement for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and blah, blah, blah. But I think any of those guys could probably fuck up most people that aren't martial artists. You know, even
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody that was willing to step into the UFC back in the day when it was no gloves, headbutts, punches to the groin, all that good stuff. Yeah, they probably had a bit of a screw loose and probably the type of unsavory character you wouldn't want to meet down a back street.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Next question. Let's go.
All right. This is from Raheel. He says, I want to give a special shout out to my brother, Mo from Haywood/Manchester. He's a big fan of you, and it's his birthday on May 19th. Happy birthday, Mo.
Happy birthday to Mo from Haywood, Manchester. My man, have a good day. Many happy returns. All that good stuff.
Well, he goes on to say he's recently fallen onto hard times, and he's not really had the money to buy the new UFC EA Sports game. All right, why would you share this about your brother? This guy, I'm sure, doesn't want the world knowing that he's fucking broke.
You know, listen, it just so happens I have a spare copy of the game. Send me your address, I'll send it to you.
Do you really?
No, do I fuck? What do I look like? Father Christmas? Santa Claus? What do you think I am? Fuck, come on down, the price is right. What do you need? You want a cup of coffee? Here you go. A Maserati? I got one on the driveway, baby. Woohoo! No, listen, I ever see him, he can have a copy, but I don't have a copy. So, and I'll probably never see him. But if I'm in Haywood, I'll bring one with me. Next time I'm in Manchester, I will be carrying a copy of that game around with me. I'll be like, listen, it's for fucking this guy from Haywood, okay?
So you're always going to carry
times recently. His brother sent a message in. Nice guy. I'm just looking for him. Have you seen him? What's his name?
No, he killed himself after his brother told everyone that he's poor and can't afford a fucking video game.
All right, what was the question?
He wants to know if you can give him a free game. I swear to God, that's the question.
Is that the question?
I swear to God.
No, it's not.
I swear to God.
Oh.
He goes, I know it's a bit cheeky to ask, but is there any way you could hook him up with a copy of the EA Sports game? Do you know anybody at EA Sports?
Well, it's funny you say that, actually, because tomorrow, you may have seen it on my Instagram, unless you've got better things to do, I'm going to the UFC headquarters, to Dana White's office. So me, Daniel Cormier, Chris Weidman, Matt Serra, and a YouTuber called KSI that we spoke about a while ago. Remember that, Lewis?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so we're all going to play the new UFC game against one another. So that should be fun. A bit of a PR thing, I guess, for the new UFC game. So you never know. What was this guy's name again, Lewis?
This guy's name was, hold on, Salil or Raheel. Sorry, Raheel and Mo.
Raheel. Raheel, you never know. If I manage to snag one from the office tomorrow, if there's a rep from EA Sports there, you have my word. Okay, here's what I'll do. I will ask the rep if there's a spare copy. If I leave there with a spare copy, we'll get your address and we'll send it.
Father Christmas.
Right.
Michael Bisping.
I will do that. I am seeing the UFC game, people, tomorrow. And I will ask. And if they have one, I'll send it your way. And I think there's a good chance you'll get one. So that sends a message out there to everybody that listens to this podcast. If you just believe.
You can conceive, you can achieve a free video game.
You can achieve a video game.
I wonder if Matt Serra and Jim Norton are going to give out a free video game on their show.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Fighter and the Kid, I don't see them giving away anything.
Fucking Joe Rogan, where you at? No free games on there.
Cheap
you know
bastard.
What I mean?
I like Joe Rogan, but he's a cheap bastard. I'll say it right now.
Cheap bastard, you know?
Last question. This is from Karam. Karam, Khurram. Dear both, I hope you are well. I recently landed a job in the UN, for the UN, which has been a lifelong goal of mine, and am scheduled to start in June. However, I'm a little anxious of starting and do not want to mess up this opportunity. Any advice regarding starting a new job that you've always wanted to do? Any advice from either of you would be much appreciated. This is a good question because it's not MMA related. You know, anybody could relate.
Any advice on starting a new job? That was the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any advice? Well, you want to make a good impression. Let's be honest. First day, brush your teeth, have a good shower, iron your clothes, turn up early, not on time. If you're not early, you're late. You know, you put your best foot forward, Luce. What is your advice while I think of some good advice?
Michael Bisping's last job was when he was 17, working in a fucking factory. He's like, show up, brush your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I work for myself. I'm late to this podcast every fucking time. I sent a message today, said, probably going to be 5 to 7 minutes late. I'm a little held up. The reality of the situation was that I was sat in the cafe eating a sandwich and I was starving, but I'm like, you know, it's going to need a few minutes. That's why I've got this coffee. But I haven't had a job in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Long time. But what's your advice?
I'll give you the advice, and this is advice across the board. This is for anything you're going to do in the world, right? Get the people that make decisions and get the people that are above you to like you. And get them to root for you. Get them to really want to, because if all things are equal, you and another guy, everything's equal. You guys have the same skill set. Everything is good. Whoever that person likes, they're going to get the opportunity. Simple as that. It's one of the things I tell my son now. It's like, yeah, you don't need to, it's not about what people think of you. It's about what people can do for you and how easy you navigate your way through life. So you want everyone to like, even if it's not even fucking, I'm not a likable guy. I'm an unlikable asshole. Everybody who first hears me on the show, they go, I fucking hate that guy. It takes them 5 times of hearing the show before they even consider me. But I win them over.
7 or 8, but go on.
I win them over every time, though.
You do.
But the reality is, get people to like you, and you will go through life a lot faster. And that is relationships. That is with, if your boyfriend, girlfriend, your teachers, your parents, people that work for you, people that you work with, colleagues, across the board. Get everyone to be rooting for you, and you will have a much easier time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because everything is about relationships, and I don't mean relationships with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. It's relationships in life, and people, as you say, the people that they gravitate towards, they're the people that get the opportunities. They're the people that they look to hire or promote or work with. I mean, in the acting business that I'm involved in, a lot of it's relationships. You make good relationships with people, so they want to work with people that they like. If you're going to be on a movie set, you're going to be together for a couple of months. If there's two guys that are both equally good, even maybe one guy's a little bit better, but this guy, you fucking know him, you like him, he's a cool guy, he's fun to hang around. You're like, fuck, I'm going to spend 2 months with this person.
Yep.
Let's go with that. So
you just said that recently about training partners. It was such an interesting point. I'd never heard anybody articulate this. You go,
your cornerman. You got to get along with your cornerman because you're going to spend such an immense amount of time together.
And he may be less skilled than another guy who you might be able to train with, but you're like, I don't want to fucking spend all my time with that asshole.
I've done that in the past. There's been someone else that I think maybe he could bring a little more to the table, but I just can't deal with his bullshit. I can't deal with the stuff he goes on about. I can't deal with just how he is in general as a person. So go in there, first day of the new job, try not to be an annoying fuck, okay? Know your place, be early, be on time, and be nice, be pleasant, and do a job that you enjoy. If you enjoy, of course, you said you've wanted to work for the UN for a long time, so I'm sure you will enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, you'll succeed. If you succeed and you enjoy it, you'll be very, very good at it. People will see that, and you will go a long way, my friend. Should we do one more?
I don't have any more prepared. That's it, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we would do double questions this week, Lewis. You're dropping the ball. You're making me look bad. You made it look that our podcast is so unpopular that we don't even have 3 questions.
No, we have plenty more questions. We didn't pick any more.
I'm embarrassed. I'm sick of it. I'm very embarrassed, Lewis.
All right. Look, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, 5-star review, motherfuckers. Tell some friends about the show, and look out for Michael Bisping this Wednesday on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I'm very excited to watch.
Boom.
Spent my entire day watching the whole season.
I like YouTube, as I said last week, but I was a little bit annoyed because I got a new phone, as I said, and this morning as I was getting a haircut, you might notice I got a nice snazzy cut. As I'm doing it, a thing pops up, an advertisement for live TV on YouTube. And so I thought, yeah, great, awesome, because I don't watch direct TV. I just watch Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon. So I don't actually need the live TV. And if I thought I can get live news on my phone or stream it to the TV, fantastic. It says, click here to start your free trial. So I click the free trial, and then I get an email saying after 28 days, it's $39.99 per month. So I'm like, fuck that. So I've cancelled it, I hope. So I've got a bit of a ill taste in my mouth from YouTube right now. But all right, I will check it out, Lewis. And on that note, should we do some questions?
Let's get some questions. All right, so here,
Let's go.
If you guys want to join the conversation, shoot us an email, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. We always pick a few questions rather, to end the show with. First question is from Dave. I'm from a small town called Walsall in the Black Country.
Walsall.
Walsall in the Black Country, just outside of Birmingham, the UK. Hi, Mike. Hi, Lewis. Big fan of the show.
Walsall is where Paul Taylor, I believe, is from. I could be mistaken, but I believe Paul Taylor, UFC fighter, that's where he was from. Walsall. Yes, continue.
Okay, so I've been a big fan of Bisping for about 10 years and really appreciate what you've done for British MMA. And Lewis, I love your comedy and your cunty sense of humor. Thank you. Anyway, I have a question for Mike and for Lewis. First, Bisping, if you could add one fighter's specific skill set to your game, either past or present, what would it be and why? For example, you could add Barboza's kicks, Royce Gracie's submissions, Dan Henderson's H-bomb.
Yeah, we get it. Okay, you don't, fucking GSP's mental tricks, fucking Anderson Silva's kicks, Randy Couture's wrestling. Yeah, you don't have to go on, Ryu's Hadouken, and Bison's fucking thing, the Dragon Punch. Yeah, I get it. Chun-Li's spinning bird kick, and so on and so forth.
So which would you add if you could add one specific fighter skill set to your current...
What's this guy's name?
This guy's name is Dave. He's a big fan, 10 years.
Dave, love you, Dave. Thanks for listening to the show. Please go away and subscribe to YouTube and subscribe to iTunes and leave a 5-star review and tell your friends. But please, step your game up with the questions. Please. Lewis, add it. Go on.
Okay, for Lewis... I've heard about your upcoming fight, and I hope you fuck him up, and I will. But my question is to you, if Michael Bisping trained you full-time 6 months, how do you think you'd get on in the original UFC? Personally, I think you could beat the sumo guy, but I'm not sure about the rest.
Hold on. This isn't the answer to the question. Lewis answered the question.
Well, he asked me a different question.
Oh, yes, you would. Oh, we don't. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Lewis gets his own questions now. My God, you are big time these days.
I would add the left hook of Michael Bisping to my repertoire, and that's it.
Larry's left hook.
That's all I need is Michael Bisping's left hook, and then
Larry's left hook. That's all you need.
I would
All
add
right,
I would add Ngannou's cock slap.
Oh my
If I could
God!
get that.
Yeah.
No, how do I think I do in the
Demetrius Johnson.
dude? Those UFC guys, the original UFC guys. I know people talk about it like it's like
Footsteps of Marco Huas. I had some Marco Huas footsteps all day, every day.
I would add the breast bouncing of Paige Van Zandt. Just running up and down a beach. That's what I would do.
Louis, at the moment, it was kind of funny. You know, leave it there. Leave it there. You know, let's not readdress it. We had the moment. Move on. Keep it classy.
No, I don't think I could beat anybody in the original UFCs. I think all those guys were actually pretty tough guys too. I know it was like the story was that it was an advertisement for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and blah blah blah. But I think any of those guys could probably fuck up most people that aren't martial artists. You know, even the
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody that was willing to step into the UFC back in the day when it was no gloves, headbutts, punches to the groin, all that good stuff. Yeah, they probably had a bit of a screw loose and probably the type of unsavory character you wouldn't want to meet down a back street.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Next question. Let's go.
All right, this is from Raheel. He says, I want to give a special shout out to my brother, Mo, from Haywood/Manchester. He's a big fan of you, and it's his birthday on May 19th. Happy birthday, Mo.
Happy birthday to Mo from Haywood, Manchester. My man, have a good day. Many happy returns. All that good stuff.
Well, he goes on to say he's recently fallen onto hard times, and he's not really had the money to buy the new UFC EA Sports game. All right, why would you share this about your brother? This guy, I'm sure, doesn't want the world knowing that he's fucking broke.
You know, listen, it just so happens I have a spare copy of the game. Send me your address, I'll send it to you.
Do you really?
No, do I fuck? What do I look like? Father Christmas? Santa Claus? What do you think I am? Look, come on down, the price is right. What do you need? You want a cup of coffee? Here you go. A Maserati? I got one on the driveway, baby. Woohoo! No, listen, I ever see him, he can have a copy, but I don't have a copy. So, and I'll probably never see him. But if I'm in Haywood, I'll bring one with me. Next time I'm in Manchester, I will be carrying a copy of that game around with me. I'll be like, listen, it's for fucking this guy from Haywood, okay?
So you're always going to carry it.
Times recently, his brother sent a message in. Nice guy. I'm just looking for him. Have you seen him? What's his name?
No, he killed himself after his brother told everyone that he's poor and can't afford a fucking video game.
All right, what was the question?
He wants to know if you can give him a free game. I swear to God, that's the question.
Is that the question?
I swear to God.
No, it's not.
I swear to God.
Oh.
He goes, I know it's a bit cheeky to ask, but is there any way you could hook him up with a copy of the EA Sports game? Do you know anybody at EA Sports?
Well, it's funny you say that, actually, because tomorrow, you may have seen it on my Instagram, unless you've got better things to do, I'm going to the UFC headquarters, to Dana White's office. So me, Daniel Cormier, Chris Weidman, Matt Serra, and a YouTuber called KSI that we spoke about a while ago. Remember that, Lewis?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so we're all going to play the new UFC game against one another. So that should be fun. A bit of a PR thing, I guess, for the new UFC game. So you never know. What was this guy's name again, Lewis?
This guy's name was, hold on, Salil or Raheel. Sorry, Raheel and Mo.
Raheel. Raheel, you never know. If I manage to snag one from the office tomorrow, if there's a rep from EA Sports there, you have my word. Okay, here's what I'll do. I will ask the rep if there's a spare copy. If I leave there with a spare copy, we'll get your address and we'll send it.
Father Christmas.
Right.
Michael Bisping.
I will do that. I am seeing the UFC game people tomorrow, and I will ask. And if they have one, I'll send it your way. And I think there's a good chance you'll get one. So that sends a message out there to everybody that listens to this podcast. If you just believe.
You can conceive, you can achieve a free video game.
you can achieve a video game.
I wonder
Next question.
if Matt Sarah and Jim Norton are going to give out a free video game on their show.
Definitely not.
Probably
Definitely not.
Fighter and the Kid, I don't see them giving away anything.
Fucking Joe Rogan, where you at? No free games on there.
Cheap
you know
bastard.
What I mean?
I like Joe Rogan, but he's a cheap bastard. I'll say it right now.
Cheap bastard,
Yeah.
you know?
Last question. This is from Karam. Karam, Khurram. Dear both, I hope you are well. I recently landed a job in the UN, for the UN, which has been a lifelong goal of mine and am scheduled to start in June. However, I'm a little anxious of starting and did not want to mess up this opportunity. Any advice regarding starting a new job that you've always wanted to do? Any advice from either of you would be much appreciated. This is a good question because it's not MMA related. You know, anybody could relate.
Any advice on starting a new job? That was the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any advice? Well, you want to make a good impression. Let's be honest. First day, brush your teeth, have a good shower, iron your clothes, turn up early, not on time. If you're not early, you're late. You know, you put your best foot forward, Luce. What is your advice while I think of some good advice?
Michael Bisping's last job was when he was 17, working at a fucking factory. He's like, show up, brush your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I work for myself. I'm late to this podcast every fucking time. I sent a message today saying, probably going to be 5 to 7 minutes late. I'm a little held up. The reality of the situation was that I was sat in the cafe eating a sandwich and I was starving, but I'm like, you know, is it going to need a few minutes? That's why I've got this coffee. But I haven't had a job in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Long time. But what's your advice?
I'll give you the advice, and this is advice across the board. This is for anything you're going to do in the world, right? Get the people that make decisions and get the people that are above you to like you. And get them to root for you. Get them to really want to, because if all things are equal, you and another guy, everything's equal. You guys have the same skill set. Everything is good. Whoever that person likes, they're going to get the opportunity. Simple as that. It's one of the things I tell my son now. It's like, yeah, you don't need to, it's not about what people think of you. It's about what people can do for you and how easy you navigate your way through life. So you want everyone to like, even if it's not even fucking, I'm not a likable guy. I'm an unlikable asshole. Everybody who first hears me on the show, they go, I fucking hate that guy. It takes them 5 times of hearing the show before they even consider me, but I win them over.
7 or 8, but go on.
I win them over every time though.
You do.
But the reality is, get people to like you, and you will go through life a lot faster. And that is relationships. That is with, if your boyfriend, girlfriend, your teachers, your parents, people that work for you, people that you work with, colleagues, across the board. Get everyone to be rooting for you, and you will have a much easier time. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, because everything is about relationships. And I don't mean relationships with, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. It's relationships in life. And people, as you say, the people that they gravitate towards, they're the people that get the opportunities. They're the people that they look to hire or promote or work with. In the acting business that I'm involved in, a lot of it's relationships. You make good relationships with people, so they want to work with people that they like. If you're going to be on a movie set, you're going to be together for a couple of months. If there's 2 guys that are both equally good, even maybe one guy's a little bit better, but this guy, you fucking know him, you like him, he's a cool guy, he's fun to hang around. You're like, fuck, I'm going to spend 2 months with this person. Yep. Let's go with that. So
you just said that recently about training partners. It was such an interesting point. I never heard anybody articulate this. You go,
your cornerman. You got to get along with your cornerman because you're going to spend such an immense amount of time together.
And he may be less skilled than another guy who you might be able to train with, but you're like, I don't want to fucking spend all my time with that asshole.
I've done that in the past. There's been someone else that I think maybe he could bring a little more to the table, but I just can't deal with his bullshit. I can't deal with the stuff he goes on about. I can't deal with just how he is in general as a person. So go in there, first day of the new job, try not to be an annoying fuck, okay? Know your place, be early, be on time, and be nice, be pleasant, and do a job that you enjoy. If you enjoy, of course, you said you've wanted to work for the UN for a long time, so I'm sure you will enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, you'll succeed. If you succeed and you enjoy it, you'll be very, very good at it. People will see that, and you will go a long way, my friend. Should we do one more?
I don't have any more prepared. That's it, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we would do double questions this week, Lewis. You're dropping the ball. You're making me look bad. You made it look that our podcast is so unpopular that we don't even have 3 questions.
No, we have plenty more questions. We didn't pick any more.
I'm embarrassed.
Sick of it.
I'm very embarrassed, Lewis.
All right. Look, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, 5-star review, motherfuckers. Tell some friends about the show, and look out for Michael Bisping this Wednesday on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I'm very excited to watch.
Boom. Relationships with people, so they want to work with people that they like. You know, if you're going to be on a movie set, you're going to be together for a couple of months. If there's two guys that are both equally good, even maybe one guy's a little bit better, but this guy, you know, you fucking know him, you like him, he's a cool guy, he's fun to hang around. You're like, fuck, I'm going to spend 2 months with this person.
Yep.
Let's go with that. So
you just said that recently about training partners. You, it was such an interesting point. I never heard anybody articulate this. You go,
your cornerman. You got to get along with your cornerman because you're going to spend such an immense amount of time together.
And he may be less skilled than another guy who you might be able to train with, but you're like, I don't want to fucking spend all my time with that asshole.
I've done that in the past. There's been someone else that I think maybe he could bring a little more to the table, but I just can't deal with his bullshit. I can't deal with the stuff he goes on about. I can't deal with just how he is in general as a person. So go in there, first day of the new job, try not to be an annoying fuck, okay? Know your place, be early, be on time, and be nice, be pleasant, and do a job that you enjoy. If you enjoy, of course, you said you've wanted to work for the UN for a long time, so I'm sure you will enjoy it, and if you enjoy it, you'll succeed. If you succeed and you enjoy it, you'll be very, very good at it. People will see that, and you will go a long way, my friend. Should we do one more?
I don't have any more prepared. That's it, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we were doing double questions this week, Lewis. You're dropping the ball. You're making me look bad. You made it look that our podcast is so unpopular that we don't even have 3 questions.
No, we have plenty more questions. We didn't pick any more.
I'm embarrassed.
Sick of it.
I'm very embarrassed, Lewis.
All right. Look, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, 5-star review, motherfuckers. Tell some friends about the show, and look out for Michael Bisping this Wednesday on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I'm very excited to watch.
Boom.
All right. Look, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, 5-star review, motherfuckers. Tell some friends about the show, and look out for Michael Bisping this Wednesday on the Joe Rogan Experience, which I'm very excited to watch.
Boom.
Which I'm very excited to watch.
Boom.